Yeah, my name is Tako Taal. I'm an artist and I'm currently living in Glasgow. And yeah, I was born in Wales and have moved around a little bit, living in the Gambia, parts of northern England, and came to Scotland in 2011, I want to say, whenever the volcanic ash cloud was. So yeah, I moved with that bit of weather. Yeah, I studied in Aberdeen and Grey School of Art, and I graduated in 2015. And yeah, I think technically my degree is in contemporary art practice, but I started in printmaking, and I feel like that is quite grounding in the way that I approach my work, and especially like my filmmaking. Yeah, this is my first institutional solo show, which is called At the Shore, Everything Touches. And it's been a project that I've been working on for about three years. And so it feels really, yeah, kind of incredible to be seeing it come to light in the galleries. I guess the main sort of like crux of the exhibition is this 2-channel film work with an audio soundtrack, stereo sound with analog tape audio that is on a loop. And the work is structured, I guess, in 3 loops, 3 iterations of this loop, which follows the timestamp of this tape, which is 11 minutes long. So the film is precisely 33 minutes long. And in that, there are texts that are written, a voiceover that is written by me, and then excerpts from a letter that my father wrote shortly after returning to the Gambia. He studied in Sweden and he returned to the Gambia in the mid-80s. I guess that's maybe like where this whole body of work kind of came from. I think the letter is really... I'd read it when I was younger, and I came back to it sort of like fairly recently, and I was really surprised by the kind of like tensions in his relationship with the Gambia. And I think that was something that I shared, and was surprised to find that he also shared that. Yeah, because my father died when I was young, and so he is... I guess I always saw him as being like my connection to this, or it's through him that I'm connected to this land. And so I always thought about, or just imagined that, yeah, his feelings towards this place were uncomplicated, which is, you know, kind of ridiculous or something. But yeah, and so I was really interested in like pulling out this tension and exploring my own kind of like shared tension, or just feelings, I guess, like trying to understand like what my relationship to him, to this country, to like some of the like wider historical narratives that are also in the show. Yeah, the title of the exhibition, At the Shore, Everything Touches, I guess refers to kind of 2 shores. One that is very literally, I mean, it's not quite technically a shore, it's a riverbank, but is the shoreline of my family village in the Gambia, which is on the banks of the river Gambia. And in the centre of this river is an island, which has had several names, but is now called Kunta Kinte Island, after the main protagonist in Alex Haley's book, Roots. And so through this proximity has become, and through this book, has suddenly gained sort of like a lot of global attention, sort of from 77 when the book was published onwards. But then I guess, yeah, this other shore that I'm thinking about is a kind of questioning that I had of, I guess, sort of underlining it all is like this question of like, what is it for those who remained? Thinking about transatlantic slavery and thinking about that position. It's a kind of more like, psychological position of remaining on the shore, watching the boat disappear. And yeah, what it is to still live in that space of that kind of loss. All the audio elements of the installation have been composed by Claude Nuke. And yeah, it's the first time that I've worked in this way, handing over sort of, this other element, the more like of filmmaking. And it was a very collaborative process. I essentially handed over all of the sound that we'd recorded on location. Put together like a playlist as well of things that I had been thinking about. So I guess one of the, in terms of the soundtrack, something that I've been sort of going alongside this is finding in like all these like musical influences of like Kunta Kinte. So essentially it's like it's just name is name checked a lot in a lot of like rap music predominantly. So I started compiling, you can do like a lyric search on this website, and so I think there's something like maybe 300, but growing, because it's like really contemporary stuff that's like still having this name being referenced. I think I'm really interested in the kind of like the aura, the kind of power of the name that continues with this, and what it means to people. But I handed this all over to Claude, and from that we kind of created this structure for the piece, which revolves around these 3 11-minute cycles, which then create this 33-minute loop. So in the sort of documents that were left to me by my father are photographic albums, and also the texts, which are his memoirs and letters, both of which appear in this exhibition. The process of making things public or the decisions around what goes into this show has been really enlightening for me. There was a decision that I made in terms of switching out one of the elements in the film, which was a conversation, a personal conversation that I've now removed, because like the knowledge of like, or sort of being on the precipice of about to like open yourself up to the world, I was like, the world. But being out of my studio suddenly made me think about what this artifact was. I'd become so familiar with this conversation, and I suddenly became a bit sort of not anxious, but apprehensive of sharing it in a wider context, or without. I'm now just talking about something that's not in the show, but but it has been a very difficult balance about deciding what artifacts sort of remain in. I think there was something that someone said to me about making work, which I think about quite a lot, which is this thing of like what goes in the work, what is parallel, and what is just for you. And I think that's what this whole process of making this exhibition has been about, like through sort of sorting through my father's like documents has been like, what do I want to maintain that is just for me, or like intimate, like an intimate group, and then what goes in and what's parallel.